Hello everyone, TimeToGrind here, and today since we, as I'm sure you guys know, are without beta, I thought it'd be kinda fun to make Hearthstone cards for each of the Overwatch heroes. Now in making these cards, I tried to make them all seem very interesting and fun by incorporating a defining feature about each hero, whether it be their ultimate or just one of their great abilities. Also, I tried to balance these the best I could, but I have the feeling that some of these may either be way too overpowered or way too underpowered. But without further ado, let's get started. Now our first card is Bastion, a 2-2 for 3 mana that at the start of your turn would gain Divine Shield and do 2 damage to a random enemy minion. Now this of course is replicating Bastion's siege mode with both a shield and a turret, and although this card seems extremely overpowered, you have to think about the fact that your opponent has a complete turn to do only 2 damage to him, killing him. But placed behind a taunt or given stealth, Bastion could be completely insane. Next we have D.Va inside her mech suit. She's a 4/5 for 7 mana that when killed spawns at D.Va 1/2. However, at the start of your turn, if D.Va is still on the field, she'll transform back into her mech suit. And I feel like this mimics D.Va's hero extremely well, as in Overwatch, if you can't kill D.Va while she's out of her mech suit, she can constantly keep getting back in it. Next we have Genji, a 3/4 for 4 mana with the text, any non-combat damage done to Genji is reflected back to a random enemy minion. So if you were to fireball him, he would reflect it all back to a single enemy minion. Now this gets useful when people try to board wipe or use cards like Knife Juggler. Of course, you can kill him normally just by swinging at him, so he's not that overpowered, and I like this a lot because it feels like his deflect ability. And next up we have Genji's brother Hanzo, a 2/3 for 5 mana with the battle cry deals 6 damage to random enemy minions bouncing each time. So think of it almost as a bouncing blades, except the damage can't come back hurting your own enemy minions, and it doesn't stop if it kills a minion. And this of course is replicating Hanzo's scatter arrow. Then we have Junkrat, a 5 mana 2/5 with the battle cry and death rattle reading deal 2 damage to a random enemy minion. So when he comes in, something's exploding, and when he leaves, something's exploding due to his martyrdom. Next up is Lucio, a 3/3 for 5 mana that gives all friendly minions +2 health when entering the battlefield, replicating his Sound Barrier ultimate. This card could work really well in token decks like Egdred where you normally have a ton of creatures on the field, or it could just help to tank up your other creatures. Then we have McCree, a 4/4 for 8 mana that destroys 3 random enemy minions. Now the reason he can only destroy 3 is because when using McCree's ultimate Deadeye, I could never seem to get those entire team wipes, and normally I only kill around 3 people. And this card isn't that overpowered because first of all, its stats are pretty bad for an 8-drop, and because you could end up only killing 1/1s, but the potential to kill 3 huge legendaries is insane. After that we have Mei. Mei is a 2/1 for 6 mana with the battle cry freeze all enemy minions, and at the end of each turn, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Now this of course is Mei's Blizzard ultimate, and the reason her stats aren't that great is because it has the potential to board wipe the entire enemy's board. Because by freezing all enemy minions, unless they have a spell or hero power to kill Mei, they're going to be taking an additional 2 damage to all their creatures. Next we have easily one of my favorite cards I made. We have Mercy, the 1/1 for 10 mana. Now those stats are absolutely garbage, but her battle cry is similar to her resurrect ability. It reads, summon 6 random friendly minions that died this game. Now in the same sense as McCree, this could be either very good or not so good. If you're running very small creatures, you may not get too much value out of Mercy, but if you're running some sort of control deck, filling your entire board with big guys doesn't seem too bad. Now I do understand this still may be a little overpowered even if you get only a few small guys, but hey, Mercy's OP right now, so let's just say it's in the spirit of the character. Next up is Pharah, which is one of the most interesting cards I made. She's a 6/7 for 9 mana that can attack over taunt and doesn't take damage while attacking. So this is obviously because she can fly, and if she's attacking someone, she isn't going to take damage fighting them. She can still be killed by spells or even other creatures attacking her, but she's definitely a minion you don't want to let stay on the board. Plus, she doesn't die to BGH. Then we have Reaper, a 1/1 for 4 mana with stealth. Now whenever Reaper breaks stealth, he gains +6/+6, so he's effectively a 7/7 for 4 mana. The drawback though is that it's delayed by a turn and it could die to things like board wipes or RNG like Knife Juggler or Arcane Missiles. And the idea behind this was Reaper tends to Wraith form away when he's in a bad position or hurt and then comes back swinging, and in this case coming back swinging is gaining the +6/+6. Next is Reinhardt, a 3/6 for 7 mana that has both Taunt and Divine Shield along with the text your other minions can't take damage. Now this is supposed to represent Reinhardt protecting his team with his barrier field, and the enemy team is going to have to focus down Reinhardt in order to get to his team. This can be played along with other cards that have great passives like Archmage to get extreme value. Next up is Roadhog, a 9 mana 5/8 with the battlecry take control of a random enemy minion. And this of course is replicating Roadhog's Chain Hook. And if you think about this, it could either be a better or worse mind control since you don't get to choose what you're taking, but you're getting a 5/8 body on the board for 1 mana cheaper. Then we have Soldier 76. Now of course, one of the most memorable things about Soldier 76 is his ultimate, so I made a 4/5 for 7 mana that at the end of your turn destroys a random enemy minion. So you're guaranteed at least one thing to die, and if your opponent can't remove him, he's just going to continuously pick off enemy minions one by one. Next we have Symmetra, and when making this I really wanted to incorporate the theme of her teleporter, so she's a 1/2 for 4 mana with the battlecry the next 3 minions you play cost 2 less. So you're effectively saving 6 mana for 4 mana, and it makes it possible to play things like a turn 5 Dr. Boom or a turn 4 Emperor Thorson. And it isn't really overpowered in my eyes because you're effectively losing a turn when playing her as she's only a 1/2 for 4 mana. Then we have Torbjorn. Torbjorn is a 4 mana 1/5, so pretty hard to kill off, and his text reads at the end of your turn, level up your turret, and if you don't have one, build one. So you're guaranteed 11 points of stats for 4 mana, and if it lives long enough, he can upgrade his turret to a 6/7. Kind of a fun card, but it would definitely be the target of any kill spells, as you don't want him to keep on buffing his sentry. Next up we have Tracer. Now Tracer is a 4 mana 3/1 with charge, with the text at the end of your turn, send Tracer back to your hand. So you can effectively do 3 damage a turn with her, but if you use her to trade minions or something, she wouldn't come back. And of course this is showing off her being able to teleport back in time to your hand. And I actually got this idea from a magic called Mardu Scout, and it pretty much does the same thing, but if you pay its dash cost. Then we have Widowmaker, and this isn't the most fun effect, but it's definitely one of my favorites, solely because it's something Hearthstone has never really done. Widowmaker is a 5 mana 6/3 with the battlecry reveal the opponent's hand. And obviously this is based off of Widowmaker's Infrasight ultimate. So Widowmaker could allow you to play around combos like Force of Nature Savagery Roar, and also let you make better decisions as you have info on whether or not they have burn in their hand. And another thing is this card only reveals the card they have right then. It's not a passive that just lets them permanently see your cards. Next up we have Winston, a 5/7 for 7 mana with the Enrage effect of gaining +3/+3. So this can be pretty terrifying if run in a warrior deck with things like Death's Bite or Whirlwind. Next we have Zarya, a 4/5 for 5 mana with the battlecry give a minion a particle barrier. And the particle barrier isn't just a divine shield, it's like a divine shield except once it's popped, Zarya will gain damage equal to the amount of damage blocked. So say you placed it on one of your minions and it got fireballed, Zarya would gain 6 damage. It has the potential to really prevent the opponent from playing some spells they want, and also puts them in a sticky situation where they want to try to kill Zarya, which gives your other minions some breathing room. And last up we have Zenyatta, a 2/6 for 5 mana with the text can't be targeted by spells or hero powers, similar to cards like Fairy Dragon and Arcane Nullifier. On top of that, at the end of your turn, you heal all friendly minions by 2. So it's really similar to Zenyatta's ultimate, being that he is extremely hard to kill, and he is healing all your minions each turn. Also, it being a 2/6 means it's very effective against aggro decks, as it can trade into many minions, especially since the heal works on himself. And that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed this fun little special episode, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to see more Overwatch content. On top of that, I'd love to hear which cards you liked or didn't like in the comments down below. Did I make some cards that were way too good or some that were way too bad? Make sure to tell me. And like always guys, see you next time.